Hello, hello, hello. It's another episode of Talking TSL, all things EAFC 24. TSL stands for Tradition Soccer League. We're just a group of lads who have been playing FIFA for many, many years. I'm your host, JFace907. We're going to talk about Season 14, preview Season 15, and a little other things in between. I'm here with my co-host. I never actually asked you while we were talking, just, you and I. Is the C a sound for Simi?
You got it. That's it.
It is Simi 10. I've played with this guy or, cross paths with him in the virtual sphere for, over a decade now, maybe even getting closer to 15 years. But, and I never bothered to ask, just always assumed, but hey, my co-host today, Simi 10, how are you doing, friend?
I am doing well. Finally settled in. Ready to jump on here and butcher some of these player names for you.
Oh, that's my job. You're taking my job. Oh, but alas.
You're more well-versed at it than I am.
Oh, I put myself on Front Street every time I hop on stream for the Tradition Soccer League. But yeah, as I was saying in the little bit of the intro there, we are a long-running league that has played FIFA, now rebranded to EAFC. We have just wrapped up our 14th season in our Dynasty format, and it is something that, I cannot recall a season that seemed to be more open. Would that be the right word? I mean, we had our usual champ, but it certainly felt like it felt open, which was Colby C-Mac, but it felt like there was a lot of just other great storylines going on in every other division. Overall, how do you feel about season 14?
Yeah, so I feel exactly the same way. That was my first season in Division 2, which was quite the whirlwind experience. I think I could either have been relegated or found the playoffs right up until the last match. So definitely dramatic. But yeah, it definitely felt a little closer than the ones that I've experienced thus far since rejoining TSL.
I wouldn't say that I necessarily enjoyed season 14, but I mean, it's hard to enjoy things when you go winless. Putting together a mark of 0 wins, 2 draws, and 15 losses. I had more losses than I had goals scored.
You got to remember, this is just a video game, J-Face. You got to have fun. You're enjoying it. It's just the experience.
Yes, exactly, which is why, in part, that I stream my games with cam on and commentary, not the game's commentary, my commentary, because that's what brings me joy, because currently losing all your games is not fun. But no, it was a fun season nonetheless. Really doing things that I was just trying everything. I did an end-to-end cam for the end of the season there. And oddly enough, announcement coming here, I'm going to continue the end-to-end cam in Division 4.
Right.
Yes, we will see end-to-end cam resume. Of course, the streams will always be live and popping with my commentary and, amateur karaoke. But that's the first of multiple announcements coming on this episode of Talking TSL. But, as I mentioned, usual champion at our top flight in Colby, over in Division 2, which was predicted by a lot of people. Steel came away with the championship there, with the championship there with Dortmund. And in Division 3, this guy, 66 goals scored in the campaign. Mr. London and his Western United side. I'm sure I gave up, or he scored on me 16 of those 66 goals, but good night, Irene. That was insane. Nashville and his Stevenage. It's better than what it was last year. He takes the crown.
I go with Stevenage myself whenever I talk about him, so I think you're right on the money the first time.
There we go. Stevenage it is. He goes up to Division 3 by taking the Division 4 crown with a great campaign there. First, I believe, that he will spend in Division 3 this year in Season 15. We do also have some promotion playoffs that take place, and earning their ticket or earning their way. Oh my gosh, I can talk. Earning their way up to Division 3 from Division 4 was also the Orlando City side of KJ Lamb taking out RB Salzburg and Z-Car. But due to some resignations and stuff across the league, Z-Car does find his RB Salzburg side promoted. So good for him. We also have Nottingham Forest and Nolan winning the promotion playoff in a rather lopsided tilt, 7-3 over Toronto FC, and he'll be spending season 15 in Division 2, and then going up to Division 1. Fizz, he is going up to his Fiorentina side. He's taking them up, and I'm not going to say who he beat unless you want to release that information.
Listen, I was happy to just make the playoffs. The goal was to not get relegated. We made the playoffs. We made it to the final, and we put on a show. So exceeded expectations for myself. Disappointed to lose the way we did, but happy for Fizz. Definitely earned it.
Yeah, he's always a fun guy to play. I mean, people talk about the ping and everything going out to overseas, but hey, you put up with my stuff, going up to the frozen country. So, I will never give Fizz a hard time about any ping or anything like that. Let's get into, if I remember correctly, no, I'm not. Of course I remember. You, sir, had the task for the podcast to start getting a feeling out for how people possibly see season 15 going. And we're going to get some of those answers here, but I do want to ask you something. Did you know that season 15 will mark the 50th campaign of FIFA/EAFC soccer under the Tradition Soccer League banner? How about that?
That is quite an accomplishment. Round of applause to the guys who've been around for the whole thing. Reading especially. Really impressive. 50 seasons is quite a task.
I think I've probably been here for about maybe half, maybe less than half, but I've probably watched as a stalker, creeper, whatever you want to call it, all 50 of them. I mean, from the days of being on Tradition Sports Online to, coming over here in Dynasty, while I may not have been in it, I was part of the communication group and, always have cut it up with the lads that take part in Tradition Soccer League action. And kudos to all of you. It's been outstanding accomplishment putting together 50 campaigns, and I just couldn't ask for some better gents that we have out here that, like I said, I mean, in the in the open, due to Tradition Sports Online, that, you and I have crossed paths virtually for long time, and, these guys even longer. So kudos to everybody and well done. All right. So let's hear about this survey. Predictions, hot takes. You asked for a lot of it.
Yeah, I added a few more questions this time around. Just wanted to see some things, some different opinions. Where do you want to start? You want to start D4 or D1?
Let's go from the bottom and work our way. Actually, you know what? Let's go. No, let's go bottom top.
I like it. So we asked the guys D4 who will win it outright, and with over half the votes, I got 23 responses in total. So with 12 of the votes, red is the projected winner as far as our guys go.
I am in D4 and I disagree. No, I actually full-heartedly agree with that. I'm just hoping to make the playoffs in D4. But no, Red's defensive style definitely, I would say, with the grouping of guys that we have in here, not anyone is really blazers of the net. I mean, of course we have aggressive folks like Wings and Llama, but Red seems to know how to kind of put a lid on those guys. So his defensive play styles should get him at the championship, if not, the top seed going into the promotion playoff.
And I think now's a good time to remind everybody that Red did have quite a hold on that first place throughout the majority of last season, but unfortunately, things just fell apart in the back half of the season for him. So seeing him win it outright this year would not be surprising to me.
None whatsoever. What about Division Three? What do we got now? We don't have any Division Four relegation unless we, tell your friends about this group. Let us get Division Five so we can have some relegation going next season. But what's going on with Division Three? How do people see that shaking out?
So Division Three, there's a bit of a split at the top. Actually, seven for of the votes for Pepper and seven for Oxshot as well, which is a little surprising. Um, so Pepper and Oxshot are the two favorites to win that group, but Webb's also got quite a chunk of the pie there as a favorite to win. Now, when it comes to the playoffs, Oxshot, Webb's, and RJ Spy are all three of them have an equal share as far as advancing from the playoffs.
Now let's. I forgot to go over playoffs for Division Four, but we'll work that in here with who people see possibly going down in Division Three.
We'll,
Who do
we'll get
people
to
see
that.
that?
So the unfortunately for Doug, he got the most votes with 58% of the votes, a total of 14. Z Car with 11 and KJ Lamb with 8. It's worth noting that Oxshot has 3 votes to be relegated, so he's going to have to prove some people wrong one way or another.
I mean, the free fall is only one step complete. I mean, I'm trying to remember. My memory's terrible, so I'm maybe wrong about this, but I want to say there has been time under the EAFC 24 banner that he has spent at Division 1, so he could potentially see himself go 1-4 in one game title. Someone please correct me either in chat or send me if you have that information offhand, but I'm pretty sure that's in play here.
I hope it is. I would love for it to see him be that guy to go down in the history books for TSL as the only one to do that.
And then what about the playoffs, promotion playoffs for Division 4 possibly making their way into Division 3?
Yeah, so just to cover that, Llama there has the majority of the votes, but also Jumpy and the newcomer Trousers gets a good chunk of that pie to make the playoffs and win it outright.
I'm still not hearing my name here. Where am I at?
Let me see. Let me just scroll down here. J-Face, you did get 1 vote.
If you're scrolling, then we already know I'm in trouble. All right, we'll just hop on up now and ignore that and go over to. Actually, you know what? Because this is my former division where I just got relegated from. My personal opinion on this grouping is that you cannot count out the good doctor. I know he's in there, down in himself. He might be the sandbagger of all sandbaggers in Division 3, but he's got a squad. He's got stick skills. I would not put anything past him. I don't know. Maybe it's a yo-yo thing, but I think KJ. I think he could make some noise with Orlando City in Division 3 to at least maybe be on that playoff line. That was it the 5 between the 5 and 6 or whatever it is. I think he could possibly make some noise too. But all right,
up to division. I think this division. Not to cut you off, but looking at all the guys, I don't know that it'll be as competitive as Division 2 typically is. But I mean, I don't think it'll be a runaway for anybody.
Oh, and I shouldn't. I would be remiss if I didn't say the promotion playoff finalist last year in RJ. I mean, the dude went literally from 0 to almost hero in the course of the season. He was down there with me. Him, and Kev were looking at each other, all three, like, who's going to make the move? Well, he made the move, and he made it fast and hard. That's what she said. But can you do that to yourself? But anyway, don't
I won't answer that.
Don't count him out of this equation either. But enough about Division 3. Let's go ahead and jump into Division 2. Where do folks see how that all plays out?
So it should come as no surprise to anybody that with over half the votes, people believe Isaac is going to win this division and jump right back up to Division 1. And then Uber's right behind him with about a third of the pie going to him. So two guys that just came down from Division One are absolutely the favorites to win Division Two outright. When you look at the playoffs, it gets to be pretty colorful. I mean, Isaac and Uber are both on top there as well. But we also see NB getting some love, as well as London coming all the way from Division Three and making it right up to Division One in his first season in Division Two for at least this cycle, which would be pretty impressive.
I could definitely see London using that offensive charge to get himself all the way up to Division One through a playoff berth. I don't know about necessarily outright championship. I do agree with the crowd that Isaac and his Arsenal squad is ready to take that crown, and get right back into Division One. The Brisbane Roar and Uber, you know, he's probably going to be, him and London are. I'm going to predict it now. Promotion playoff final matchup. It'll be those two right there, and I'm probably going to be dead wrong, but that's what I'm predicting right now. What about going down? Anybody? We already have one Division 3 promotion flirting with Division 1. Anybody, like, I guess it's just Nolan left for this question, but possibly a yo-yo candidate, or what's going on with the relegation side?
Well, unfortunately for Nolan, he did receive the majority of the votes. With the 24 responses, he got 11. And unfortunately, I got 10. So, I kind of expected that. I don't know. This division seems like it's going to be a little tougher than last season. So I'm all for it. But looking at the rest of the guys, Paris also got a number of votes. Bobby, NB, and London even got a good chunk of votes. So I think the survey itself tells you just how competitive this division is really going to be.
It certainly will be the most competitive. I'll go ahead and make that statement right there. There will be no other competitive division. It may seem a little top heavy in terms of 1-2, but gosh darn it, 3 to 10 or 3 to 8. I don't know how many people are in each division. But that will certainly be where the battles all lie. I mean, there may be minimal point separation from the top seed in the playoff bracket to the relegation zone. I mean, it's going to be super competitive. Going to be a fun watch from an outsider like myself. Going in.
Yeah, when you look at when you look at the playoffs, just the chart here of the 10 guys in Division Two, only one didn't receive a single vote to win the playoffs. So that tells you just a little bit more of the story.
Wow. Definitely going to be fun. I look forward to the mid-season podcast to just talk about how congested that table is going to be. But going into the top flight, Division 1, I'm sure everybody voted for Colby for champion. So let's just talk about relegation. Who do we have in the – let's talk about the danger zone first. Who do we have possibly seeing themselves in Division 2 next season?
So this was one of the most lopsided relegation votes. Broth had nearly 70% of the votes to get relegated. And then Keeper Cave as well came in at 60%. So the two of them seem to be the overwhelming favorites to unfortunately go down to Division Two after this season. But Steele and JC also got a good chunk of votes, but Broth and Keeper definitely led the way there.
I could totally see a scenario where Steele is flirting hard, with making noise. I don't know that, he'll capitalize on it all and, pull off the big upset or anything like that. But he's certainly going to make you, like Fort Minor says, remember the name. That was Fort Minor, right? Mike Shinoda's group.
Oh yeah.
I think River Plate and Hoodle's side also can be something to mess with. I know he had a little bit of an adjustment in the season this past year, but definitely this is another table where I feel like the top is really going to be pretty clear and obvious, but everyone under that is going to be fighting for their life. So it's going to be a fun watch, I feel, too. I'm trying to think of anything that might surprise people here. Only thing that maybe would surprise somebody is if Keeper decides to just wreck stuff and be the Cinderella of Division 1. Because I feel like really if anybody else were to do it, it'd be semi-expected. Not totally, but at least you'd be like, I'd believe that if someone told that to you, just randomly on a Tuesday.
Yeah, you and I both spent some time with Keeper, starting in Division 4 and on the way up. He's definitely got the stick skills to be able to do it, and he's got a pretty damn good roster too. So I could see him making some noise and upsetting some folks along the way to really shake things up, especially at the top.
For sure. For sure. Well, let's spend this last little bit here to I didn't put this on the run sheet, but just to self-indulge a little bit. How do you feel your off season went? Have you had the chance to play with any new pieces that you might have added in the off season? Just give me general how your off season went.
I've not been able to play with any of it yet. Hoping to get some of that in this week. But yeah, fairly well documented trade with Colby, giving him one of the better non DP defenders in the game. Konate, I sent him Konate for, and here's going to be a name I butcher, Casono, um, and Pape Sar in return. So I think I got a pretty good return in that. I got a defender, a center back that should be seeing some boosts along the way over the next couple of cycles at least, as well as a center mid that's been playing well and gotten a couple boosts. So I'm excited to see that go. I will say I've been trying in the DMs to add a couple other pieces, but just not going my way, unfortunately. But how about yourself, J Face?
I've actually been able to hit the friendly front pretty hard. Played about 6 or 7 now since I put my squad together. For those unfamiliar, anybody who's relegated goes through, anybody who's promoted goes through this fishbowl process where the relegated teams have to drop all their designated players. You sucked with them, so you lose them. But so I had to replace Grimaldo, Bruno Guimaraes, and oh gosh, Rafa, and I replaced them with. I went pretty offensive heavy because for a guy who lost more games than he scored goals, I figured the offense is what needed to be addressed, and so I brought in oh gosh, I don't even know how to begin pronouncing his name. Sig. Nope, we're just not even gonna. Sigankov from Girona. See, you can't even pronounce his club name. Brought in Julian Brandt, and it wouldn't be me, mainly because I don't do my homework like I should. Don't tell anybody. But it wouldn't be me if I didn't bring in somebody from Newcastle. And since Isak isn't available, I brought in his striking partner, Callum Wilson. And surprisingly enough, on the friendly field, that's the dude who is doing the most work for me right now. I'm actually really grateful that I brought him in. The size, the way he can put his body on dudes really translates into the game, and he's got a little bit of still some pace to him. It's definitely going to be somebody that once I get promoted, yes, I'm calling my shot now. I'm doing it. I'm getting promoted. He's going to be dropped. He's going to be replaced because, in real life, as we know, since we can't progress these players ourselves, they mirror their real life counterparts. He's going to be on the downward trend. He can't stay healthy. He has lost a step in the real world. So we're going to replace him. But right now, as it stands, he's been a solid contributor for me, and I do see that translating into the regular season as well. My only gripe is that I kind of need to figure out how to incorporate Julian Brandt a little bit more. But other than that, for being a fishbowl side, I liked what I came away with. I did lose a player due to him being deleted from the game, joining up because he joined a team in Brazil. I used that as a way to finagle center midfielder and Lucas Roboton, who I've always liked and wanted to add. So I enjoyed my offseason, even though it may have been at the behest of getting relegated.
To me, it sounds like a warning and a threat to Division 4, and I love that.
It is. It is very much so. But let's do the other reveal or announcement that I mentioned that we would have here today. We actually have in our possession the first round cup draw. So we have ourselves here some interesting matchups. I'll just run through them real quick here, and then we can break them down, find some interesting ones that we like. So I've got, oh gosh, we're starting me off already bad. Charleroi, yes, Charleroi. That's the kid Leroy, going up against Apple. That's what I'm going to call that Swedish side, Apple. Right? They're from Sweden, if I remember correctly. So
Good enough. Good enough.
Wings against Iguana Dan. This is actually a Division 4 matchup. So being lucky to draw a division mate is luck that I did not have. But anyway, we then got Brisbane Roar against Lille. So we do have the fearless leader going up against recently demoted Brisbane Roar and Uberdur. We then have Stoke City against Lyon, Chelsea versus Fiorentina, Aston Villa versus Orlando City, Toronto FC against Atletico Madrid, Crystal Palace versus RB Salzburg, Tottenham versus AC Milan, Celtic versus Nottingham Forest, Aberdeen versus Real Madrid, Inter Miami versus Newcastle, PSG versus Gladbach, Bayern Munich against Atlanta United, Fulham against Leverkusen, Palermo versus RB Leipzig, and Benfica versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, I mentioned that there was a Division 4 matchup within that, so killing off two of the lowest flight right away, that really only spells good things for those at the top of the table, but also, I don't know, I wish I wanted more parity. I don't like going up against a top flight side in Inter Miami. I know I have pulled off a couple cup sets in my lifetime, but Seb, you're gonna kick my butt, man.
You're already defeated before you even kicked off.
I was defeated by the cup draw, yes, sir. You, on the other hand, you get yourself a Division 3 side in Atlanta United, someone we are familiar with through our treks up and down the tables in Kyle Active. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, Kyle and I have had quite a few run-ins. Like you said, in Division 3, we played in the playoffs for Division 3. Always have been pretty good games. So certainly can't take that lightly, especially with the Cup squad. Not too pleased with my Cup squad as it stands. Just doesn't have the depth I'd like, but I'm not going to make excuses. Kyle's been a good player. They've been good games, and I'm looking forward to that.
Speaking of cup rosters, do you have a favorite player on your cup team? Because for those who don't know, our cup sides, we cannot play our designated players in that. So those three guys automatically go to beyond the bench to the reserves. But do you have anyone that you particularly enjoy when you get the chance to play with them in cup, even if it is someone that you regularly use?
Well, Johan Bakayoko's been my star boy since I got him from Oxshot last cycle. But he does play for me in my league squad. Of the cup guys that don't regularly play in the league, I'm looking forward to using Pape Sarr a little bit this season in the cup, as well as Lukas Sucic, if I'm pronouncing that right, who is an RB Salzburg player. I really just like his play styles, and interested to see how that works out. How about you, Jay Face?
Oh, it. We just say one word in this house: Joe Linton. Joe Linton is by far. I mean, I know he's a mainstay in my regular club, but I mean, I feel like I really get to center things around him when I'm in cup play. That is by far my favorite. After him, it probably goes. Probably goes to Calabria. I mean, there was definitely a situation last year where, because of the way I was playing, oh my gosh, dog! Sorry, my dog is making a special guest appearance on the show. To where Calabria actually was only really playing in my cup squad, and so that put a unique perspective on things. But I have always enjoyed using him on the flank as a fullback. But no, it begins and ends with Joe Linton. It really does. Okay, and now that we have brought an unexpected co-host onto the show, I think it's time to go ahead and to go home. Unless there was any other matchups that you found intriguing. I know I said we'd dive into matchups and then totally didn't after this dang dog. But so let's do it. Let me live up to my promise
Okay.
here. Um, I have to admit I do find the matchup of Lyon and Stoke City fairly interesting, mainly because Big Lad FC. All it takes is no red cards to be in play, and Llama can keep himself in a game, especially if he can get enough corners to utilize that Big Lad FC squad of his. But other than that, maybe, and that's another 1-4 matchup. And so, just really going for Cinderella story. Yeah, it is March after all. Other than that, I'm probably looking at. I think I'm looking at Celtic Nottingham Forest too. Actually,
I agree with you there.
that's two Division Two sides going up against each other. One of them being a recently promoted into Division Two side, but in terms of rosters and how they match up, I think I really like that one. Any others that jump out on this out on the paper for you?
Yeah, Tottenham, AC Milan. That seems like it should be a good game. A D1 and D2 guy. One that I'm sure Paris will be ultra motivated for to beat his hated Spurs squad. But also looking Aberdeen, Real Madrid should be a good match. Um, yeah, Toronto, Atletico Madrid. I think there's some good matchups in this first round to really get things going.
All right. And I did just realize that there is one aspect of the survey that we did not get to cover, but I figure might as well save it for the end. So here we are. And that would be the traditional on all the surveys hot takes. Any hot takes that any of the lads decided to bless upon you that you wanted to bless upon our listening audience.
Yeah, so people certainly take advantage of this being something that I can't see the responses of. And they certainly send the heat. Might not be a hot take, but just their free opportunity to just spit some game, if you will. But some of the ones that I like the best, Aston Villa will win D4.
Another
Here's another one.
there's my name's
Oh
not
yeah,
there in that one either. So okay, go ahead.
no, sorry. Isaac not making it out of Division Two, and that wasn't said just once but twice.
I I could see it. I mean, I know we talked about things that if it was said on a random Tuesday, if you would say, oh, that's surprising, or I could believe it. That's one I would say I could believe it.
Yeah, like we said, Division Two being as tight as it can be, certainly possible. Um, I haven't played Isaac in a long time, so and then just looking through the rest of these, something that I can share here on quote unquote the air. A league rookie will win Division Four. We have a couple of those new guys this year in Trousers and Zidane. So it'll be interesting to see if one of them can take the crown in Division Four.
Man, I don't have a lot of faith in myself anymore.
I'm sorry.
No.
You're not listed anywhere in here. But as far as it goes, that's the majority of the good ones. Steel in London getting exposed and relegated was another that it felt a little passionate. Whoever put that one down, so we'll see how it goes.
Two high flyers, high scores. You would think you fly too close to the sun, you'll eventually get burnt. To be honest, though, I don't see it for either gentleman, either lad. I really don't. I think both are going to have some successful campaigns here in season 15, which, as we mentioned, is the 50th campaign of the Tradition Soccer League. Gosh, from taking, I'm just going to use this moment as a Jerry's reflection, but taking squads that you love or love the jerseys for whatever. And using them with no roster control, just whatever FIFA puts out there for you, whatever EA Sports puts out there for you, and just playing 10, well, not 10 friends 20 times, to now this, to the drafts, to the fish bowls, to the transfers, to free agency, to all that, just such a long way this group has come, and it's been awesome. I've enjoyed all of it. I've played on both sides of it, the non-dynasty and the dynasty side. I don't know if Red counts that bastardized version of the Xbox League in part of these 50 campaigns, but I was on that as well, being an Xbox gamer who now PC games thanks to crossplay. But either way, it's been a lot of fun. I thank everybody who's had a heart or part of the action, part of the putting it together, all the admins, awesome time, and I'm looking forward to season 50. Did you want to take a second to reflect at all here, Simi?
Sure. The 50th season, I was fortunate enough to be a part of it when it started. Kind of went away from it and came back last cycle. There's nothing like it as far as I'm concerned. I dabbled in another league just to enjoy the game a little bit, and this compares to nothing else. They do a great job with TSL. I'm happy to be a part of it. Looking forward to the 50th season and seeing how things go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening here and joining us, and everybody that's in our Discord that was putting some snarky remarks in the chat while we were saying our bits. But it was certainly a lot of fun. As my son says when we do our podcast, which we need to get back to at some point, by the way, Frozen Finn on Spotify and all your favorite podcast providers. But it's been fun for Simi. I've been Jay Face. Let's have some fun in this 50th season in season 15. 50th campaign in season 15, however you want to phrase it. But again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining me, Simi. Let's have some fun out there.